there are no practicing Jews who are Jews. Yeah, I'm not talking about Messianic Jews who are Christians, who are from a Jewish background. I'm talking about practicing Jews. The Jews as an archetype who accept the concept of God coming to die for their sins. None of them. Jesus himself, according to the text that we have, alluded to there being another message after him or another messenger after him.
If Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a prophet of God, that's exactly what you expect him to do, is to unify the message with all of the prophets.
When we had the Old Testament. Same question. Now, I can give you a response to that, but I'm asking you to be fair and give me your response to the same question.
Well, what I can say, basically, the New Testament, right?
Sorry?
The New Testament consists of Gospels. So Jesus, look, the Old Testament prophesies that God will sacrifice himself, right? The Isaiah chapter predicted the coming of Jesus. So the word didn't change because the New Testament knew that someone named Emmanuel would come to earth. You understand?
Okay, so I understand the answer you're giving me, but it's not answering my question.
It does answer because
let me explain. I'm going to explain to you
the
why.
Old Testament is part of the New Testament, so it cannot be changed when the Old Testament prophesies.
So can I understand? Can I try and understand what you're saying to me?
Okay.
So what you're saying to me, from what I'm understanding,
Yes.
is that the message of the Old Testament is the
Yes.
same as the message of the New Testament. Is that what you're saying to me?
It doesn't mean it's the same. It's just the message from God.
Okay. So let me understand you again. So you're saying it's okay for the New Testament to come
Yes.
after the Old Testament because it's just a message from God.
It's a message prophesied in the Old Testament, so the word didn't change.
Okay. So I understand there is no difference in what you should believe or how you should believe between the Old Testament and the New Testament. None. According to you.
No difference.
No difference at all. Okay. I disagree with this analysis that you've made. I disagree with it. Okay.
You have the right to disagree.
Absolutely, and I can give you the reason why as well.
Yeah.
So, some very basic reasons. Okay. So the Old Testament, as far as I understand, you can tell me I'm wrong, is based upon a system of following God's commandments,
Yes.
adhering to the law. Okay. And the New Testament is based upon the law is no longer required, just your faith that Jesus died for your sins and was resurrected.
Yes.
I would say they're two different messages. First thing, that's the first thing. So the messages are different. The Old New Testament abrogates the Old Testament. Okay, that's the first point. Second point, there are no practicing Jews who are Jews. Yeah, I'm not talking about Messianic Jews who are Christians, who are from a Jewish background. I'm talking about practicing Jews. The Jews as an archetype who accept the concept of God coming to die for their sins. None of them. At all. Why is this? Because the Old Testament talks about God being immortal, cannot die. The Old Testament talks about that you will receive. The Old Testament talks about the fact that the Messiah will be saved from any tribulation. I can give you evidence for this. There are 15 or 16 Old Testament prophecies where the Messiah is specifically the name is not mentioned, even the term Messiah is not mentioned, but these verses are understood to be about the Messiah, where he will be saved. I can give you a few. I have a list of them with me if you want. Okay. So, and then the concept comes though. You say Jesus is the Messiah. Muslims say Jesus is the Messiah. We accept this.
Yes.
You say he's born from a virgin. We say he's born from a virgin. We accept this. You say he's God on earth. We say no. We agree with the monotheism of the Jews and the Muslims is virtually the same. God is not the creation, and the creation is not God. So the Christians are the odd one out. So the Judeo-Islamic tradition agree, and you disagree with the other Abrahamic faiths. So the message is not the same. That's the first. That's another thing. The final thing I'm going to say, because I don't want to talk for too long, is that just as you say a message came after the original message, we say that the final message came after this message. And this was alluded to in the New Testament. Jesus himself, according to the text that we have, alluded to there being another message after him or another messenger after him. And I can give you some examples of this, but here's what I understood.
Well, Jesus actually, like, he warned about the false prophets in the New Testament. And
What did he say?
I mean, he warned that there will be fighting, because he said, I came by the sword, not by peace.
Who said? Jesus said.
Yeah. So I as a Christian believe that Jesus gave them the final message from God.
Where does Jesus say that he gave the final message? I know you believe it.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you don't believe. What I'm saying is, can you tell me why you believe this? Where is the information that you have received that tells you this is the final message? How do I understand, as a non-Christian, how can I read in the text that Jesus says that he's the final message?
I don't know how to answer, but
Can I give you a counter verse?
okay.
There are many things that I must say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. You know the verse, right?
Yeah.
I must go, the comfortable will come. So now I'm paraphrasing. And he will lead you, he will guide you, and he will lead you on to. For me, as a non-Christian reading this text, tells me that there is someone else, I'm not going to talk about who or anything like this,
Okay.
who will come to give the complete message that Jesus was unable to give at that time. I'm quoting, according to your belief, Jesus himself. So when you say to me, this was final, when I read your book and the text, it tells me the opposite. So who do I believe? Should I believe you or should I believe the text? You tell me.
But you have your own belief, so.
So I'm not talking about my belief, I'm talking about your belief.
Because it's known that.
Alex, my question was, should I believe what you say to me or should I believe what the text?
You don't have to believe, of course. I'm not trying to force you to.
So why do you believe?
Become Christian.
So why do you believe that Jesus was the last message, according to you? So I can understand. Explain to me.
It's obvious. It is the last message.
Explain to me why it's obvious. Because it's not obvious to me.
How can I explain? Like, he came. He preached in Israel. It was called something Judea in the Roman time. And then he told the apostles to spread the gospel around the world.
What did he say about the gospel?
Sorry?
What did he say to them about the gospel?
To spread the message around the world. So, I mean, that's how it ends. And then he was raised after 3 days to heaven. That's what I can explain to you.
Okay. So I'm just going to try and make out the whole conversation to link it up. So you started by saying to me, why did the Quran come if the word of God is complete? Yeah. I asked the same question about the New Testament. Why did the New Testament come? Because there was the Old Testament before it. You said there was no difference between these two. The messages was the same. Even if we accept this, that they were the same message, it still doesn't answer the question of why the need for the New Testament, because you still have the same message before. The second thing is I demonstrated to you why these two things had different messages within them. Yeah. In fact, we have Judaism and Christianity, which are two separate religions, who disagree completely because of the two different messages that they hold. Okay. Then you tried to explain that Jesus was the final messenger. This is the final message. You couldn't give me a reason.
I'm saying that.
But I gave you a counter verse which showed you that Jesus himself is speaking about, there are things that I need to tell you that I can't tell you now. You cannot bear them. But you're saying to me, no, it was done, finished.
It's up to Jesus what he said. And,
No, you follow Jesus.
of course.
So how are you following him? Did you meet him?
What do you mean?
You read the words,
Yes.
and then you follow the words.
Yes.
Okay. So the words say there are many things that I need to tell you that you cannot bear.
But it doesn't mean that he said that there will be another prophet.
What is he saying?
it just its own interpretation, you know.
No, I don't understand. You have to explain.
Well, I don't understand, like, how can he predict a new prophet would come?
So did he?
You know what I mean?
Did he do that? Did he
no,
say?
No, he did not.
So explain those words to me so I understand them.
What can I explain this?
When I, as a non-Muslim, a non-Christian, read the texts, what do you want me to understand by these words? That's all I'm asking.
To understand, but I'm telling this, it was just, you know, Jesus' own interpretation.
No.
It didn't mean that the prophet would come.
So let me, okay, this is the interpretation is what I'm asking
And
about.
your religion was created in artificial way 600 years later, because no one knew what was Islam before 600 years, right?
No, I don't agree.
Okay, but you have your own beliefs, as I
So,
said.
so before we go on to this other point, explain to me what I have to understand when I read these words. What do I understand about them?
What you have to understand. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So you said to me that the message is complete, Jesus is final. Okay, that's what you said.
No, it was God Himself, so
So
final.
okay, that's what you're saying. The
Yeah.
message is final. So then I gave you the verse where Jesus talks about there are many things that I must tell you, but you cannot bear them now. So I'm asking you, you're saying to me this message is final, there's nothing more.
Yeah.
I'm saying to you that according to what you believe are Jesus' words, he's saying to you there's many things that that I must tell you, but you cannot bear them now. So these are opposite things. So either there's more to come, or there isn't more to come. Now I'm not saying to you, tell me what the more to come is. All I'm saying to you is tell me why you ignore these words of Jesus. When
No, I don't ignore
okay,
the word of
so then
Jesus.
explain them to me is what I'm asking.
Jesus is talking about the prophecies. Yeah, there are some prophecies which are still to be revealed,
Yes.
still to be followed, and they are coming true time by time. They are still going on. This is what the Revelation talk about. The prophecies about the happening in the world.
So
Yeah, all the prophecies
Can I ask you a question?
which are being fulfilled time to time. Yeah.
I understand.
Jesus
So
is talking about that
you're saying to me that we
Finish your conversation with him instead of this
Okay.
man is only.
no problem. I'm just 1 second. So you're saying to me that when Jesus says there are many things I must tell you,
Yeah.
but you cannot bear them now.
Yes.
This is about future prophecies, or is it about some new information?
Anis.
Prophecies.
Prophecies.
Jesus is talking about the prophecies.
So the prophecies are already.
which will be revealed with the time passage.
So
With the time
Why couldn't
passage.
they bear
so
the
you
prophecies?
so you mean that the prophecies are coming true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means that the prophecies were already revealed, or they weren't already revealed?
About Jesus,
No,
they
no.
were already revealed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you understand
for
the
his second coming, it will be revealed time to time.
So you're saying that when Jesus,
Even Jesus talked about the signs up on the sky. You will see. When you see those signs, you will understand that my coming is near.
so what you're saying to me, I just want to understand you, okay? So what you're saying to me is that the new things that Jesus needs to tell you when he comes in his second coming, he will tell you then. Is that what you're saying to me? Alex, don't go. Alex, come.
He said, "I'm going away,
Alex, come
and I will send you a helper who will make you understand all these prophecies." And Jesus promised with his disciple, and that they received.
So what I'm trying to understand now is,
Yeah.
until the second coming,
Yeah.
there is information that you don't have.
Which information?
Stand back a little bit, Mohan. Just stand a little bit back. So you're saying to me,
Yeah.
because the verse says there are many things that I need to tell you, but you cannot bear them now. You're saying this information
Yeah.
that you cannot bear now is going to come at the second coming. Is this what you're saying to me?
Am I talking the hadith with you, or I'm talking the Bible? I'm saying
I think you need to
that
switch back to this brother here.
these are the signs.
Okay, you're not,
These are the signs which
I think
Jesus
we'll continue with this brother
These
here.
are the signs which Jesus talked about, that you will see the signs
We'll talk to this
on
brother.
the sky
so, okay, thank you for your
about
information.
my
Thank you.
second coming.
We'll finish our conversation
here's the
with
problem.
this
I
brother.
understand. Here's the problem, Alex. This is the problem. So this is the problem that we're having now. One statement, that statement I gave you, is specifically talking about there are many things that I need to tell you that you cannot bear now. Okay?
Yeah.
And he's talking, and the comfortable will come. Whoever, whatever you want to say about the comfortable is different. The question is very simple. Is there information that Jesus needs to give you, or you need to receive, that you don't have now? From that verse, it's very clear the answer is yes. Now, what this brother is saying is he's saying these are prophecies. But obviously the prophecies are already given.
But there's also one other point, if you don't mind.
No, please.
There are 7 masculine pronouns used in relation to this comforter. And if I don't go, he will not come. But if I go, I will send him. And he himself will show you into all truths. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is not clearly about Jesus himself. He's talking about sending someone else. And
My
if
dear,
and also
my dear,
please
have read Daniel chapter 7,
please.
Daniel chapter
We're having a
7 is
conversation.
clearly
We're having a
talking
con-
about
we're-
all these things.
Brother, we're having a conversation with this gentleman. When you started your conversation with Imran, you said first it was prophecies.
Yeah.
Then Imran explained to you that then you were talking about the second coming of Jesus.
Yes.
Therefore, these were
So-
hold on.
even
No.
God-
Hold on.
even God-
Have a
even
conversation.
God
Have a conversation.
said
Brother,
to
hold on.
Daniel,
Brother, hold
Have
on.
a conversation.
Brother, hold on.
close
I
this
haven't
book.
finished.
Right,
Hold on. I
yeah.
haven't finished. Hold on.
It
I
will
haven't
be
finished.
revealed
Hold
later
on.
on.
Hold on. I haven't finished.
and
hold
it was
on.
revealed.
Hold on. I
You're not
haven't
making-
finished.
It's not making sense what you're saying, brother. Listen
You
to him.
first said prophecy, then you said it's the second coming of Jesus. Then when Imran explained to you that
What he
hold on a sec, a prophecy is something that you say to somebody that this is going to happen, and then it happens.
Yeah.
But you can't have it both
His
ways.
coming,
You
his
can't-
coming will be.
You can't.
He
you-
doesn't understand.
You
His
can't.
coming
You can't.
will.
Okay.
There
He
will
doesn't
be
understand.
signs.
I think we're not
This is what-
we're not on the
this
same
is what
wavelength.
Bible
Let's finish
is
the point
talking
here.
about.
Let's finish the point here.
You will see
So-
the signs.
Okay,
Okay,
brother.
no problem. Thank
Be
you. Thank you very much.
respectful
So-
now, please. Be
Yeah.
respectful. Let's finish our
So-
conversation.
So, Alex, you see the point here, right? So the first thing is saying to a Muslim that the Quran, it doesn't make sense the Quran came because the message was already there before, and the word of God can't change. I asked you the same question about, well, if you had the Old Testament, why did the New Testament need to come? Because the message was there before. You didn't have a really response to that, apart from saying that these two books, the Old Testament and New Testament, had the same message. Then we spoke about the difference between the Christians and the Jews. The Jews are monotheistic, they don't believe in a Trinity, they follow commandments, they don't believe in a concept of the Messiah or God coming to die for your sins. Christians believe.
Can I answer that?
Christians believe.
No, brother. No, brother.
We're having a conversation.
No, brother. Because it becomes a riddle.
I'm just,
No.
I'm just summarizing. I haven't.
You talked about.
I haven't
Hasn't
summarized.
finished.
I'm
Hasn't
summarizing.
finished yet.
talked about the
It
Old
hasn't
Testament.
finished yet, brother.
And you talked
It
about
hasn't
New Testament.
finished yet.
I haven't.
Talked about
The
Old
problem is
Testament
we
and
don't
New
want this
Testament.
gentleman because he
Let me
hijacks the
educate you.
conversation. And he
Let
won't
me
let you
Give me
speak.
2 minutes and I'll
Let
talk.
me educate
No,
you
two
about
minutes.
about the
Give me
Old
two-
Testament.
No, you're being rude
and
now.
New
You're being
Testament.
rude now. You're being rude.
Give me-
You are being very rude.
I'm
No.
not
Okay, it's
rude.
okay.
Because
This is a
Brother
speaker's
Imran,
corner.
Brother Imran is
Everybody
having.
has a right.
No.
If you have a right to speak,
No.
I have a right to
Yes, but
speak.
interrupting
as
the
No, hold on a
conversation.
second.
You're interrupting the
This is the
conversation.
problem that I have with some
This
Christians.
is the problem with you also.
You know, so
don't
the
tell
Christian,
don't tell
the
others.
Christian missionaries
Don't
come here.
point finger on
The
others.
Christian missionaries
You
come
should
here.
point finger on
Christian-
yourself.
Christian missionaries
before,
come here.
before you speak.
Christian
Yeah?
missionaries come
See,
here. Can I finish my point?
He talked about the
You're
Old
hi-
Testament.
you're hijacking
He-
the conversation.
No,
No, he
he
didn't- I
talked
didn't-
about
You're
the-
not allowing to speak. You're not allowing the
no,
person to
he
speak.
talked about Old
See, Alex,
Testament.
the problem with Alex here
Old
is this.
Testament.
When
and
when
let
there
me
is a
explain
when
you.
there is a
No,
conversation.
we don't want
What
your
does the Old
explanation.
Testament
We
talk
don't
about?
want your
Questions are
explanation.
difficult.
Oh, you don't
This is the
want.
problem here.
Why are you here?
I
No.
appreciate
Why
we're trying to
are
have a
you here?
conversation. We're trying to
Why are
understand
you
each
here?
other.
Just because
So
you're
you
at
just
just
don't
because you're at
do it.
speaker's corner
Yeah.
doesn't mean no.
He said yes.
I mean,
So
I
I'm
haven't asked a
answering you.
question. I didn't
I'm
ask a question.
answer-
I didn't ask a question.
You asked the question.
I just, I
No, he
was
didn't.
not
You
asking a
asked the question about
Anyway,
the Old
can we
Testament
please speak to
and
this
the New
gentleman?
Testament.
See, I
Can
said,
we speak to this gentleman?
Alex,
Thank you.
This is what happens, Alex. When the question becomes slightly problematic, then we often get responses that are very emotive. And what we're trying to do is ascertain some level of truth. Okay? Because at the end of the day, if you're a Christian and I'm a Muslim, or if this person stays, it doesn't matter. It's between you and the Creator. Okay? All that matters is you follow your conscience to on the basis of I did my best to find out the truth, and this is what I believe. The Quran says, like, there's no compulsion in religion. And this is the point from this is that you have to use your mind to arrive at a conclusion, and that's your conclusion. So when we're having a discussion and we're trying to ascertain the point,
unfortunately, when you don't
Sir,
have
please
an
have
answer
manners.
for anything,
Please have manners,
you
sir.
bring this
Please manners, have some manners.
verse.
Please have
you
some
have
manners.
your religion,
Please
and I have
please
my
have
own
manners.
religion. Why are you here for?
Please have some
What
manners.
for what reason you are?
we're not forcing anything, you're not forcing anything on me, we're trying to understand each other. The problem is that this is not that. This is throwing your emotion in behind your thinking. I was making a statement about what had happened before. I wasn't asking you a question, and he thinks I'm asking a question. So without even understanding the conversation, he's getting involved. But the whole point of this really was the initial point that you made about why you needed reason for a new text, and I gave you my reasons for that. And I gave you tried to explain to you why then the New Testament will need to come if the Old Testament was already here, and the differences between these two things. And then we spoke about the need for there being another message that the Jesus spoke about, or a clarification or an addition to the message that Jesus spoke about. You said that you didn't know what this was. You said it was Jesus' own interpretation.
Yeah, I mean,
But for me as a non-Christian reading this, it was clear that this is talking about more information to come. Let's forget who was going to bring it, but more information to come. For me as a Muslim, then when I look around for this more information, and I look to see what can have the criteria for being this more information, for me there is only one challenger that can come to say this fits in that bill, and I would say that's Islam and the Quran. And why specifically? Because it's the only non-Christian religion where a requirement of the religion is that you believe in Jesus, peace be upon him, that you believe in the virgin birth, that you believe in the miracles that Jesus sent,
Yes.
and that you believe that he is the Messiah sent to the Jews. We believe this as Muslims. Our difference is we don't believe in two things. We don't believe in
the Trinity.
Trinity, and the second thing we don't believe is that God must kill someone to remove sin. These are the two things we differ on. They're big things, they're not little things. But if you look at the message from Judaism and Islam, the Judeo-Islamic message is the same, the worship God alone without partners. This has been the baseline of the message from the beginning. It's the same as the Shema, the same as the first verse of the Surah 112 in the Quran, or it's 114 in the Quran, where it says specifically that say He is Allah, the One, Al-Ahad, and that's a unique oneness that nothing else can possess. And it's the same for the Shema. So this is the contender. Islam is the contender. Islam is this message that comes to you that tells you don't worship the tree, don't worship the moon, don't worship a man, don't worship a woman, worship the Creator alone, without partners. And the second part of that message,
So what is
if you can have,
Please.
if you can have,
No,
if you want forgiveness,
Calm down.
No,
We're having a
if you
nice
want
conversation.
forgiveness,
Please don't
then
interrupt.
God can forgive
He
you.
asked
Please don't interrupt.
See, he's getting worried.
Please don't interrupt.
I'm not asking about
Please.
Trinity. If I ask you about Trinity,
Can
I'm
I
just
please
messing.
answer
No, don't. No, you can't.
I don't want your answer.
No.
Yeah. No.
So-
You ask him a question.
I haven't asked him a
Just say
question.
no to him.
I'm making a statement. Do you know the difference between a
Yeah.
question and a statement?
Yeah.
I'm making a statement.
So let me explain.
No,
your
please
statement
don't.
here.
No, please don't explain
Let me
it.
explain
No,
your statement
no. Thank you
here.
very much for your offer,
Yeah.
but no, thank you.
So, that's really all our conversation was. So I think the initial point that was troublesome for me was this idea that Muslims inherently lie. That was the only thing that you said to me that I was a little bit uncertain about.
No, I didn't say Muslims. I'm saying in the terms of concept. I mean the religion itself, which I believe it's.
Oh, you believe the religion is a lie? Okay, that's a different
I
thing.
believe that what was Muhammad trying to do, he was trying to he was trying to make the Quran make it like it's he was trying to unify all other religions, and
But did
he
he-
was trying to make the Quran like it's the final word of Allah. It's the confirmation, of.
Did Jesus not unify all the religions?
No. What he is saying.
No,
the
my
Muhammad
point is that Jesus
is bringing
spoke
the
about
Quran.
Moses,
Yeah.
about Noah, about
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
all the way from Adam,
Yeah.
and he unified himself with all of those people because they all came from
The same
God,
source.
Yes.
and they all preached the message of the oneness of God and the
No.
belief of God, right?
He asked.
So
he said-
Muhammad, in that sense, peace be upon him, is no different. he also asserts that Jesus, that Moses, that Abraham, all the way back to Adam, are all messengers of God. And he is, as he's described himself,
No one
that
received
a building.
no one received a
That's
revelation
a
from
beautiful,
Satan.
beautiful building that's complete.
Only Muhammad received.
And
This is actually
there is
unnecessary.
only
No.
This is
one
rude.
brick.
Muhammad received.
You're
Thank
shouting
you.
in my
Thank
ear.
you.
Muhammad
You're
received.
shouting in my ear.
Muhammad received
This
the
is-
Quran
this
from
is-
Satan.
You're shouting in my
Isn't
ear.
it?
This is against the
Please.
Bible. No, you're saying it's against the Bible.
Am I telling lie?
Lie.
Am I
Absolutely
telling lie?
This is not.
You're
This
being
is
very
very
rude.
bad.
You're
Am
being
I
very,
telling lie?
very rude here.
You make
Am
me
I
not.
telling? No,
you
no.
make,
Am I telling lie?
You're
you
being
make
very
me.
rude.
This is your
You
hadith here.
make-
Okay.
This is your
Wait a
hadith
sec, one
here.
second, one second.
And I will show you
You-
the Quran as well.
You make me.
That
Please.
Muhammad
Please.
Listen,
himself
you're not having a
said.
conversation.
Muhammad
Calm down.
himself said
No, you're not.
that Satan caused false revelation in my mouth.
You.
No,
That's
make-
the Quran.
no,
you make-
That's the Quran.
You
That's the
make me-
Quran.
listen to me.
Lat, Munat, and
That's-
Uzat.
that's if
They
you're-
were the
you're
three
mad.
daughters
You're
of
pagal,
Allah.
pagal
They
ho
were
gaya.
the three. They were the three daughters of Allah. And
I am not a
Muhammad,
Christian
Muhammad
because of you.
himself, Muhammad,
I am not a Christian
Muhammad
because of
himself.
you.
Huh?
I am not a Christian because
Oh,
of you.
thank God.
Thank
Thank
you.
God you are not.
Thank you.
You are not
So-
Christian because
So
of
Because of you.
Prophet Muhammad,
Because of
please,
you.
honey,
Because
I don't want to be
please,
like
you're
you.
shouting in my ear.
Thank
Because,
you. Bye bye.
Can you please give me a bit of
Christianity,
space?
Christianity
Can
don't
you
want
respect my
Satan
space?
people.
Please respect my
What,
space.
this is what happens when
So
Only
So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
Muhammad said
he-
the Muslim became a.
yeah, bye bye.
the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
Don't
described
say that.
Why
himself
that?
Because
Why
don't say that.
that?
Because
As a
you're
bishop.
disturbing the
Why
conversation.
are you
That was
you're telling him
complete.
lie?
He came to me.
No, why?
Except
why
for
are you
one
telling
brick.
him a lie?
Bye bye.
Jesus, peace be upon him, he spoke about the previous prophets, Abraham, Moses, peace be upon all of them. They spoke about the previous prophets, right? So they unified themselves with those beliefs that came before because they were their same beliefs. And this is the same with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So when in the Quran, you have references to Abraham or to Moses, this is not the attempt of Muhammad, peace be upon him.
This is the
But
source
look,
of the message.
you have to ask the question.
Why not?
If
This is the question he asked.
if
Muhammad is bringing the revelation.
if Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a prophet of God, that's exactly what you expect him to do, is to unify the message with all of the prophets.
This is what he is saying.
Do you understand my
This is what
point?
he is saying.
So
The message
you can
that he
you
is
can look
bringing
at
is not from God.
you can look at it both ways. You could say
This is what
that
he
this
is
is
saying.
this is
The
a,
message
this
that
is
he
an
is
attempt.
bringing
You're being
is
very
not from
rude.
God.
You're being very rude here.
No,
You're being very rude here.
You are
So
not. You are not
you're
answering
being very
his
rude.
question.
You're being very rude.
He hasn't asked the
He
question.
is asking
He hasn't asked the question.
He is asking a simple
You're
question.
being very rude
that
here.
Muhammad is
You're
bringing
being
a
extremely rude
false
here.
revelation here.
So you can look at it. You can look at it both ways.
Muhammad is bringing
You
a
could say
false revelation here.
you could say
So, how
if
can- how can-
Muhammad, peace be upon him,
how can
is a
Muhammad be
valid
true
messenger
God?
of God,
True prophet.
then that's exactly what you would expect him to do.
When Muhammad
I
himself,
think what we'll do, Alex, it's nice
Muhammad
talking to you.
himself is
Thank you very
saying-
much. Yeah.
yeah.
If we have another private conversation, it'll be nice to do that.
Because
this
it's-
is a film.
he's just hijacking it.
This is a film conversation,
Am
so
I
you know this is
hijacking?
going to be public. Yeah.
The problem
So
is
we'll speak to you later.
problem
on. Nice
is-
to meet you. You take
the
care.
way-
the problem
the way
is
you
whenever
are telling lie.
whenever
The way you
things
are
become
telling lie,
uncomfortable,
We'll speak to you a bit
that's the
later.
behaviour.
Yeah, that-
It's very
the
bad.
way you are
And
trying
you know,
to
You want me to become like him?
one thing I would like to say to the viewers, Anis, are you filming? One of the things I like to say to the viewers is that we can have a
This guy's-
disagreement. We can believe different things, but we don't have to lose our etiquette and our manners. And this brother, he says he's Christian, and yet he doesn't behave like Jesus. He doesn't behave like Jesus. That's the problem.
Satanic verses. Those revelations are satanic.
Oh God, honestly.
Satanic verses is very, very
refuted.
accurate and true.
Accurate.
Actually got refuted many years ago.
We'll find another conversation.
Satanic
Alex,
verses
nice.
are-
Speak to you later.
It's been nice speaking to you. We're sorry we couldn't have a proper discussion, but you know, some people are a bit crazy. So.
This is what